Hello everyone, today I'm watching 5 historical misconceptions rundown by CGP Grey. The thumbnail said something about people not thinking the earth is flat, which I don't understand that because as far as I'm aware, there were always people who used to think the earth was flat. But guess that's wrong. We'll see.
Number 5. Vikings. What would a Viking be without his trusty battle helmet and its impressive horns? The answer is a more historically accurate Viking. Think for a moment about what wearing headgear like that into battle would mean.
Okay, so about the Vikings, this thing I know. Vikings in real life were nothing like they are in movies and other types of fiction.
Just easy targets for your opponent to hit and knock off your helmet. Or if you strap on your helmet, now your opponent has a convenient lever with which to drag you to the ground and something to hold on to while slitting your throat. Horned helmets are a terrible idea, which is why archaeologists have never found them at Viking battle sites, and there's no evidence that they were ever used. It was poets and artists, people...
Okay, so that makes me think, if they never even found one like that, then why did poets and other people who write fiction make that a thing? What convinced them to decide, oh yeah, Vikings, let's give them helmets that have horns? What was the purpose behind that?
People not known for caring about facts and reality who gave the Vikings their silly hats during the late 1800s, long after the Vikings could correct their misconceptions. Number 4. Lady Godiva. The story of this 11th century English noblewoman is that her mean husband, the Earl, raised taxes on the townspeople of Coventry, which Lady Godiva, and not surprisingly the locals, thought were too high.
I have no idea about this, so just...
She badgered her husband and he conceded in exasperation to lower the taxes if she rode through the town naked, assuming that she never would, but she did. Because people don't like taxes, even though their house civilization is purchased, Lady Godiva's story lives on, notably in the Godiva logo and in popular songs. But while Lady Godiva was a real person and Coventry is a real town, there's no record of her nude ride from the time when it happened, so we can safely assume the story is false.
No shit. Imagine that. Right through the town naked to lower taxes. That's the stupidest thing I've heard in a long time. But at the same time, if someone was given a deal like that today, they would probably do it. Because taxes suck. Even though taxes are necessary for literally just everything, because without taxes you can't get anything done. Because taxes pay for everything you have. Taxes pay for the roads, the schools. Well, taxes just pay for everything. Anything you can name that you use on a day-to-day basis, you need taxes for. Taxes pay for that stuff. Obviously, in corrupt countries, politicians probably, steal some of that money, but in most countries, most of that cash still goes towards just improving the life of the citizens. So the money you pay for taxes, I guess you could say it comes back because, well, a perfect example would be roads. The money you pay, some of it will go into repairing roads, making better ones, or creating more highways, So, in a way, the money you pay, it's like you're investing in something in a way. You pay it, you don't get like an immediate result, but technically you helped pay for like better roads and other stuff. You know what? Just whatever. Let's move on. I'm wasting too much time on this.
Again, poets and artists are to blame who made up the tale long after Lady Godiva's death. Number 3. Napoleon. Famously, this tiny general...
Napoleon, he wasn't short. He was average height for the time. I'm pretty sure he also wouldn't even be that short if he was alive today. I think he was like, 5'4", 5'6", something like that.
General, perhaps to compensate for his short stature, took control of France, greatly expanded its influence, and dubbed himself emperor. Napoleon's official height was indeed 5 foot 2 inches, but at the time French inches were longer than English inches, so doing the unit conversion, Napoleon's height should have been reported as 5'7" in England's imperial units, which is short by today's standards but was average or slightly above average in the early 1800s.
Short by today's standards. He's my height. Fuck, I'm short. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that the whole thing with Napoleon being short was... I wouldn't be surprised if the reason why that's a thing is because the countries which at the end finally defeated him, Russia, Prussia, England, Austria-Hungary, pretty sure they... I wouldn't be surprised if they're the ones who spread that about him being short as like propaganda because of how much they hated him. I wouldn't be surprised.
Hundreds. However, England, with its eternal love of all things French, didn't care and went with the Napoleon is so short LOL version of the story in newspapers and cartoons. Meanwhile, Napoleon was busy introducing the metric system to France and the wider world to standardize measurements so this sort of confusion would never happen again. And thankfully, the whole world now uses metric. Mostly, sort of. Number 2.
Almost the whole world.
Ah, the Roman Empire, so great and powerful, but corrupted by decadence from within. And what could be a better symbol of that decadence than the vomitorium, where Romans, after stuffing themselves with delicious foods, could vomit them all up again to make room to feast anew. Vomitoria are...
Are you serious? So this is just eat some amazing food, throw up, so you can eat more of it. Okay.
Are real, but this idea of them is not, though the confusion is understandable because their name, vomitorium, seems to make their purpose so clear. Even if for some reason you know Latin, perhaps because you live in a country that insists you waste hundreds of hours of your life learning a dead, useless language, this knowledge still won't help you because the root word vomitum means to spew forth. So what is it really? If you've ever been to a big stadium like, say, the ones made by the Romans, you've already used a vomitorium.
Oh, wait! This was in a video I watched by Salmonella. A vomitorium is like the exit to a coliseum. Or another, it's the exit. Because people spew out.
This
I'm an idiot.
Are the passageways that let lots of people enter or exit at once. The people are what spews forth in the vomitoria, not the contents of the people. Number 1. Columbus. They're so very much wrong with the common retelling of the story of Christopher Columbus that it's hard to know where to begin, but the biggest misconception is that everyone else thought the world was flat, but Columbus was the only guy smart enough to know that it's round.
Okay, I've never heard of this. This is completely different than what I thought was going to be said based on the thumbnail.
Makes a daring story, but knowledge of a spherical Earth goes back to at least 5000 BC. That's 6,500 years before Columbus set sail. And that knowledge was never lost to Western civilization. In 200 BC, Eratosthenes calculated the Earth's circumference, and his estimate was still well known and being used during Columbus's time. The argument Columbus had with Queen Isabella was not over the shape of the Earth, but of its size. Columbus estimated the Earth was much smaller than Queen Isabella and her scientific advisors did, which was why he thought he could make it across the empty Atlantic to India. But Columbus's size estimate was wrong, again, just like Napoleon's height because of mixed-up units. However, this mistake did send him west to become the first European to discover America. As long as you ignore the hornless Vikings who beat him by 500 years.
Exactly, Vikings were the first ones to land in America. I think they landed somewhere further north in Canada. I think it was Newfoundland. When did people start believing that the Earth was round? Because he did say that in 5000 BC they started believing the Earth was round, but that was probably only a small amount of people. The majority probably still thought it was flat. There's still people today in 2024 who think the Earth is flat. We literally have live footage from space which clearly shows the Earth is not flat. And yet there is still people in this world who believe it's flat. There's no arguing with stupidity. There just isn't. Yeah, anyway, whatever. Like, subscribe, comment, link to my Discord server is down in the description below. And I will see you in the next video.